So you might recall that back in March of this year, Millie Bobby Brown posted a video calling out the media for picking her apart, especially remarking on her body. And this was basically a plea for them to have mercy on her and other stars, especially ones who grew up in the industry and didn't have a choice in the matter. She said at the time, let's talk about the articles, the headlines, the people who are so desperate to tear young women down. And then she said, disillusioned people can't handle seeing a girl become a woman on her terms, not theirs. I refuse to apologize for growing up. I refuse to make myself smaller to fit the unrealistic expectations of people who can't handle seeing a girl become a woman. I will not be shamed for how I look, how I dress, how I present myself. We have become a society where it's so much easier to criticize than it is to pay a compliment. So she's doubling down on those earlier remarks in a new interview with British Vogue. And it was supposed to be a positive, like, puff piece as she's promoting the last season of Stranger Things. They did talk about her new farm life and her being a new mom with her husband, Jake Bon Jovi. And she seems to be living a joyful existence, but it still nags at her thinking about the fact that the media never lets up and never stops scrutinizing her, especially for her appearance.
It's the job.
It is part of the job.
Like
it is part of the job.
It would be like people in the political space getting mad that people disagree with them about politics.
It's... I sympathize with her, though.
Yes.
Just to speak for several reasons. First of all is that she started when she was a child and didn't have a choice in the matter. And second of all, because she's at least seeming to try to create some sort of normal life for herself and her family. But here's what the British Vogue article stated. Stranger Things was a crash course in growing up in the public eye. She has been picked apart online since she was a child, her behavior around co-stars deemed pushy, her accent veering too wildly between British or American. She was relentlessly sexualized in the press and tailed by paparazzi. On one occasion, photographers chased her into a lift and surrounded her. She said, I was really upset and the flashing lights were everywhere and it was really scary. For the first time, she sounds vulnerable. I remember after that being like, this feels really wrong and weird. She was only 13 at the time. And once she turned 16, she posted an Instagram video of nasty headlines and inappropriate comments from her years in the spotlight, calling for more kindness and support for children. This year, she turned 21 and posted another video in which she somberly called out 4 Daily Mail journalists by name for blasting her appearance and speculating about plastic surgery in the middle of her press tour for the Electric State. One headline read, "Why are Gen Zers like Millie Bobby Brown aging so badly?" As she put it in the clip, for some reason, people can't seem to grow up with me. Instead, they act like I'm supposed to stay frozen in time. And because I don't, I'm now a target. And that was really the main controversy around her post in March is like, you shouldn't have called these people out individually because it's their job to publish these articles and they're probably not even the only people writing them. But those were the headlines. Why are Gen Zers like Millie Bobby Brown aging so badly by Lydia Hawken? Why has Millie Bobby Brown, what has Millie Bobby Brown done to her face by John Ely? Millie Bobby Brown mistaken for someone's mom as she guides young sister Ava through LA by Cassie Carpenter. And then Little Britain's Matt Lucas takes savage swipe at Millie Bobby Brown's new mommy makeover look by Bethan Edwards. Amplifying an insult rather than questioning why a grown man is mocking a young woman's appearance. This isn't journalism, this is bullying. So then they address that in this new interview. She sums up the reporting and the subsequent online dogpiling with humor. She says, what has she done to her face? Why has she gone blonde? She looks 60 years old. Now, speaking with a declarative passion of someone who has, with a lot to get off her chest, says, I respect journalism. I love reading articles on my favorite people and hearing what they're up to. I understand that there's paparazzi, even though it's invasive, even though it feels like shit to me. I know that's your job, but don't in your headline slam me at the get-go. It is so wrong and is bullying, especially to young girls who are new to this industry and are already questioning everything about it. They say the worst thing was that she was excited for the press tour for Electric State. She says that even while she was getting her hair and makeup done at the Brit Awards, she was crying in the green room. And then she recorded that video the very next day. If me being blonde or wearing more makeup really bothers you, I'm going to address it, not just for myself, but for every other girl who wants to try a new hairstyle or wear a red lip. She says now, anger bristling in her voice. It's like, get off my effing case, you know? I'm 21. I'm going to have fun and play and be myself. So I just feel bad for her because of the fact that this is all she knows. She never like got to grow up in a normal way. It does come off as like, I mean, it's inherently not a relatable experience. It comes off as a little entitled because obviously you're ultra wealthy and you don't have the obligation to look at the coverage of you. You don't have an obligation to pay attention to what people are saying about you on social media for your job. You can hire other people to do that. So there's an easy clap back, but at the same time, like, she is a human being at the end of the day. And I can't blame her. Like, I'm sure the majority of women her age are relatively insecure, and it doesn't help when other people are saying these things about you.
Well, okay, so she also, like, it was so far back when you said it, now I already forgot what it was, but she said, like, there's a difference between commenting on her when she's 21 and commenting on her appearance when she's 16. As far as boundaries for journalists, a journalist at the age of 21 commenting on the perception that you look like you're aging differently than previous generations isn't inherently bullying, even if it's written with a bombastic headline, which is per usual for these industries. And the sad fact of the matter is much like our job, is that if we were to complain about it, people are going to be like, go get a real job.
Yeah,
that is something you sacrifice, and she gets a lot of money for it. She gets a lot of money to sacrifice the ability to complain about her work.
Yeah, she has the ability to step back.
As for the rest of it, like, yes, when she was younger, sure, there's definitely some boundaries that might have been a good idea from a lot of these journalists. But the thing is you have correspondingly pulled together a massive amount of wealth and attention based on people watching you grow up. And now that you're an adult, people are going to have opinions on various aspects of your life. This isn't the same thing as, say, and this could be a whole other discussion if this did indeed happen, as like countdowns to when the Olsen twins turned 18, which was disgusting and obviously a product of a very, very messed up time in the culture. But now people have opinions on you or what's her name from The Boys and plastic surgery and all of these things. You have made a value judgment that the money you make in return for the job you've chosen to continue to do is worth that pushback. And one of the most necessary aspects of your industry, you make the money because the journalists write not just the hit pieces, but the puff pieces as well. Right. And all of the things that draw attention to you. So like I said, if I was to come out tomorrow and be like, my job is just like, people don't like my opinions sometimes, and it's a bad thing. It's like, yeah. And then everybody who lays brick for a living or has a job that requires manual labor, or you're a nuclear physicist who is actually smart, not stupid like me, they're gonna be like, bro, quit complaining. Quit complaining.
That's how most people feel. And I think they're justified in feeling that way. And I think... like,
I feel like the tactic about complaining about girls growing up when you're 21 is emotionally manipulative.
A little bit. Not intentionally so. Not consciously so.
But when she's 17, yeah, absolutely. Like, call out the journalists for being fucking weirdos.
I think that also she has been instilled with an inflated sense of self-importance since she was a child because of her work. They mention here, she squares her shoulders and reminds me why she was named UNICEF's youngest ever Goodwill Ambassador at the age of 14. Like,
yeah,
she's so young and naive, and living in such a bubble that she actually thinks that means something.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's actually sad because she never had the chance to live in the real world. Then she says, I can't silence 500 million people behind their phones. So what is the realistic route here? I think it's just uplift and empower young people. Can we fight back harder? Can we instill self-love and confidence into girls to be able to believe in themselves no matter what anyone says? That I can and will do. And then she mentions that the Daily Mail executed a quick U-turn in regard to her appearance. 3 weeks later, she says, they were like, Millie stuns in this dress. How do you change your mind that quickly? It wasn't that journalists at the Daily Mail ever had any opinion about you. They were just using headlines to get traffic on their website. They never had an opinion about you in the first place.
Yes.
And you can't be attached to the things that they say about you emotionally. It's Daily Mail's job to say stuns in this dress or lip fillers, speculation about plastic surgery, and it's, you know, Vogue's job to then sit you down and tell you that you're an incredible person.
This is the price you pay for endless women's summits and free chicken dinners.
Like, I just cannot get over that line about, like, this is why I was named UNICEF's youngest ever Goodwill ambassador at the age of 14. Like, I'm so sorry that anyone ever told you that mattered.
Yeah, and it's...
that has anything to do with who you are as a person. I'm so sorry that they gave you that impression.
They're expecting the world to treat them like their friends treat them. And that's not how it works. You're in an adversarial industry. And it's, well, look, we had a little bit of a discussion earlier about people liking the idea of women not liking each other, but maybe it's not gendered. Like, you're in an industry with a bunch of sharks that want to take your job and your future work, and a bunch of journalists that want to, like, grow their career and get headlines and make copies so that they can actually get raises and make more money. Like, you're not in a hug box. You're not in an industry to make friends. And that's true in this case. And I oftentimes say that when I see the people, like, in politics just arguing constantly, bickering, assassinating each other's character, I'm like, I'm not cut out for this shit. I don't have it in me. Like, I don't have it in me to do that. Like,
or even just like really low level drama.
Yeah, I don't have it in me. And like, but the thing is I'm not Millie Bobby Brown. I didn't sign on for multi-million-dollar contracts, so therefore I get whatever level of commentary is associated to whatever level this show is, right? And that's what you've signed on for. And the second it becomes too much, it's within your right to go and stop. Like, you have that ability. Nobody's keeping you there.
But she might actually end up making that decision. It sounds like she's trying to live a quiet life.
Yeah, and then that's what you do.
They're living in Georgia instead of Hollywood. They have this farm with a bunch of animals, and they just adopted a baby, so they're focusing on being new parents as well. She seems to be a relatively well-adjusted person.
I applaud all that.
All things considered.
My only critique of this is I feel like it fails to understand the reality of the profession that you hold. And it is true that you did not necessarily choose to enter this industry. I don't know the story of how she came to be a child actor, if this was something she came to of her own volition, if she was like Sydney Sweeney, who wanted to act her whole life and like got her parents to get her into it and stuff like that, or if this is the type of thing where mom and dad were like, we're going to make a boatload of money off of you. I don't know, but I do know that, yeah, actually, you know what? I'm going to revise that because I don't know how the contracts work. Like, do they get an out at 18? Like, do they get an out at 18 where it's like, okay, you signed on for 7 seasons, but at season 4 and you turned 18, you have the right, like, you should have the right. But if she opted at 18 to stay in, then that's the life that you chose.
I don't know if it does work like that, but I think it should.
Yeah.
I think that when you become an adult, you actually should have the ability to get out of those contracts.
I agree.
It goes the same way for a lot of record deals that are signed by minors' guardians. I don't think that they should be held to that when they didn't understand the gravity of the decision that they were making at like 13. Just one last thing. This is kind of unhinged. They say that Millie Bobby Brown like drives out into the back roads of Georgia at night and like finds stray dogs and then like brings them home and like gives them a bath and has them sleep in her bed.
And
that's why they have 11 dogs now.
And her husband's like, oh
And then they ask her, has your husband ever asked you to stop letting these random stray dogs sleep in your bed? And she says, no, he just lets me be me.
Like
a little strange.
That is a pernicious lie that society tells you that that's a good thing.
She's trying to become a veterinary technician. Sorry. So maybe she's gonna decide, you know, after Stranger Things is out, that she wants to take a hiatus and focus on the animals.
Perfect.
Maybe that'll be a good route for her to take. Good for her mental health.
Good for her.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.